there were so many moments through those first couple of years where I realized, number one, you've been through harder. I mean, I get that starting a company is a very hard thing. Learning to live without pay is a very hard thing. Learning to adjust where you need to adjust. But if you do have that skill set, and I've already kind of alluded to the fact we do have that skill set ingrained in us, you find a way to survive. My name is VerWys. I serve in the U.S. Navy. I went in 2004. I was primarily stationed out of Seattle, Washington. I was attached to the USS Abraham Lincoln, which is a large aircraft carrier on the West Coast that does Pacific and Asia deployments. When I started my company, I had no idea there was a connection. I had no idea that the paths were similar, and it wasn't something I planned on. It was something I realized already years into being an entrepreneur, that it dawned on me that when you looked at the path, so to speak, I actually wrote it out once where it was a picture, and I thought, here were the high points and here were the low points, and I realized there were all these parallels. I couldn't believe how similar the path between being a successful entrepreneur, which at the time I couldn't say I was successful yet. Now I can look back with a little more clarity, but it is amazing how similar the paths are between being an entrepreneur and having a successful military career or deployment or whatever the time is, right? There's all these ups and downs, and there's all these challenges, and there's all these things that you're not prepared for, and there's no way you can be prepared for them. In the end, there's this unavoidable psychological journey to being in the military of things you're unprepared for, and sort of curveballs and things that you didn't think about going in. And entrepreneurship is the exact same way. And that trusting the process aspect really is the same thing in the military. You had to trust your training, and I can feel all of these moments, or these inflection points where I realize, oh, this is one of those periods I just have to suck it up and go. And this is one of those periods where I just have to work my tail off, and it's not going to be a lot of fun. And maybe it means less sleep or whatever it is, but yeah, that consistency and that persistence that they taught us in the military are a big part of being an entrepreneur. I would say to anybody who has gone through a military experience, you're going to have far more skill set embedded in you than you realize. Thanks for tuning in.